And we begin with that court order for the Trump administration to restore federal food benefit funding immediately. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson.
And I'm Jonathan Gonzalez. SNAP benefits have expired for the first time in history. Now there's a new development that could see that program fully funded by tomorrow. Our Conan Nolan joining us live in the newsroom with this latest update. And Conan, is there any chance the president could appeal today's ruling?
You know, there's always a chance. Keep in mind, though, that this is the second ruling from this particular federal court judge demanding the Trump administration fund the SNAP program. Now, and unlike the earlier order, which said it must provide at least partial funding for the food program, this one says fund it all for the entire month of November. You have the money in the Department of Agriculture. The judge clearly, from what we are told from those in the hearing, irked by the administration's apparent foot dragging on this issue. Now, an estimated 5.5 million Californians depend on CalFresh, which is what the SNAP program is called in California. They use a benefits transfer card to purchase food from some 26,000 grocery stores, supermarkets, farmers markets, even some restaurants. Federal District Court Judge John McConnell had earlier ruled that the Trump administration needed to use existing funds to keep the program afloat, but the administration responded with new bureaucratic rules that state agencies said would take weeks to comply with. And then the president on his social media account wrote this, that there would be no SNAP benefits until Senate Democrats voted to restore reopen, I should say, the federal government. Well, today, Judge McConnell, here is what he did. He blasted the administration, the judge saying that without SNAP funding for the month of November, 16 million children are immediately at risk of going hungry. This should never happen in America. This is Melanie Zanuna. She covers Capitol Hill for NBC News.
And the judge went on to say that they have to tap into other funds other than the contingency fund, which is about $5 billion, not enough to cover the month of November. The judge now saying that find other ways to pay out the full month. What's unclear, though, is how quickly people can get these benefits, because there are administrative logistical delays to really getting those benefits actually loaded on people's cards. But no less, a big development, crucial win for people who rely on that food assistance in America.
Right. But at the moment, we're not exactly sure how it translates. If the administration will somehow appeal this ruling, whether the president, as the judge in this case has said, is using this for political purposes as leverage against Democrats in a reopening the government bill or continuing resolution, and whether the Department of Agriculture will admit to what we understand is the funding they have for this program. Still waiting. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.
All right, Conan, thank you. And of course, many have been turning to food pantries and food distribution events because those SNAP benefits were paused.
Today, one food giveaway in Long Beach couldn't keep up with the demand, sending people home hungry. Our McCullough Medina joining us live now from Long Beach. And Mac, we know this will be a huge relief for a lot of people.
Yeah, if it does turn out to be true and there are no bureaucratic tie-ups with that decision, certainly great news for a lot of these folks that came to this distribution site at St. Lucy's in West Long Beach to get food today. There were about 50 to 60 families that benefited from this distribution here today, the food coming from food finders and donations. But there were a heck of a lot of more families that were here that did not get food and were sent away hungry.
It was because we don't have a number. And the people that have numbers, they're the only ones that could get food.
So Lopez and her family, they're from East Long Beach. They came here hoping to get food. They resorted to picking fruit from the trees outside the church after they realized they were not able to get the help they were looking for. They arrived too late this morning to get those numbers that were handed out around 9 a.m. Most folks got here at 6 a.m. to wait for those numbers. The food was handed out around 12:30 this afternoon. We talked to a grandmother of two who was lucky enough to get a number for her two toddler grandchildren and her daughter, who works to support the family. They rely on SNAP benefits to make ends meet. Now she says they don't have food in their pantry or their refrigerators.
It's 4 of us, 2 adults and 2 grandchildren, so we don't have the benefits of our SNAP card. So I'm here to get help. 16.
Thank you all.
Now, thankfully, she was able to get that help. She got number 16 here. She got a box of food, mostly eggs, bananas, some other produce, also some food that was close to the sell-by date, but we're told all that food was good to go. She was certainly grateful. She packed them up into her wagon, headed toward the bus stop to take them home to her hungry family. She says this will get them through at least this week, and if the news holds up that SNAP benefits will be restored, well, that will be certainly great news. That means they won't have to be back here next Thursday when they plan to serve more food to the hungry again. We're live in West Long Beach. I'm Makama Medina, NBC4 News.
Mac, thank you. And if you are in need of food, head to our NBCLA app. We have links to a list of county-by-county food banks in Southern California. You'll also find information there on how to donate.
And we continue to monitor how the government shutdown is impacting travel. Tomorrow, the FAA is preparing to cut 10% of flights at the nation's busiest airports.
And we have new clarity about which airports will be impacted, including LAX. That's where NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi joins us with reaction from travelers. Camilla.
Carolyn and Jonathan, travelers we spoke with here at LAX tell me that so far things have been calm here and that they haven't had any issues with their flights. But for those coming back to the airport, one man says he's worried about what travel will look like in the coming days. Travelers in Los Angeles are bracing for the possibility of flight delays and cancellations as the government shutdown is now at day 37.
I have concerns moving forward.
People here at LAX telling NBC4 so far today they haven't dealt with any issues, but they are thinking ahead.
I'm going to try and put them off until this thing's over.
Travel wasn't a problem. Of course, now we're getting texts from airlines about impact to potentially to flights, because of the 10% mandates.
Starting tomorrow, the FAA is expected to cut flights nationwide by 10% across 40 major airports due to staffing issues. That includes LAX and Ontario. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it's a safety call, as thousands of air traffic controllers have been working without pay for over a month. Here's Sarah Nelson, the president of the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, weighing in on the impacts.
We need to understand is that safety and security comes first. This is right away going to have an impact on flight attendants and pilots who don't have those flights. That will have an economic impact on flight attendants. But there's a ripple effect. When planes slow down, people don't get their packages, people don't get their medicines.
Ahead of the busy holiday rush, travel experts say to plan ahead, arrive early, and to be flexible.
Making sure that you check the TSA website to see what the lines look like, that's the best way to know when you need to leave for the airport. If you are able to put everything in your carry-on luggage and you don't check luggage, that allows you to be more flexible to hop on another flight.
And if your flight gets delayed or canceled, understand your options.
Know your rights. If an airline cancels your flight, you are owed a refund so long as you don't take the flight that they rebooked you on.
And if you need to rebook
your flight for the first flight of the day if you can. The first flight of the day is way more likely to operate than the last one.
A statement from Delta on X today reads in part, "We will work to give customers as much notice as possible about any changes to their flights and are offering flexible options to change, cancel, or refund flight to, from, or through the impacted markets, including Delta Main Basic, without penalty if traveling during this period."
Be patient. Be very patient. Expect delays.
Now, travel experts also say to use travel waivers from your airline, and a statement from United CEO Scott Kirby also saying in part that any customer traveling during this time is eligible for a refund if they do not wish to fly. He says that also includes non-refundable tickets and those with basic economy tickets as well. We're live here at LAX. Camilla Rambaldi, NBC4 News.